All
whether you
set.
like it or not.
Yeah, you learned the hard way. All right, so we'll wait a couple minutes before we get started, but we'll see who joins us on Zoom and who's still yet to come. And thanks, guys, so much for doing this and being our first to kick off the month. So we'll see how it goes. And then I think I sent you guys all text messages over the weekend. Please feel free to come to any of the classes throughout the month, and please join us on the 26th for our wrap up party. And cross country will be supplying the charcuterie board. I know I actually had put brunch on there with pictures of eggs, so don't mistake it. It will be a charcuterie board.
Eggs on out.
Yeah. So awesome. Hi, Kim. Hi. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Good to see you. You've got people still coming in, and then we will have you guys introduce yourself. Kaitlyn, I have you going first. Fine. And then I know I shared the questions so that you guys can come a little bit prepared, and we'll kind of just go through. And then whoever has questions for Kaitlyn, Mike, or Tara, please ask as we go. Cool. And I see you brought some things. Is that Kaitlyn?
I did, yeah, this is just, you can take any of this, I'll give. This is just a little bit about what I can. You can have that if you want. You might, Gina, find our revision with that one.
Nope, probably not that.
Cross stuff, you know. There you go. Yeah.
Well, it says it's 2 o'clock, so let's go ahead and jump in and get started. All right, well, thanks guys so much for joining us today. I'm so excited about the month of September and that we're going to be really focusing on everybody that's ever been in the PC program and what successes in particular some of our guests have had. And I just know that when I watch in particular the newest people, and you guys might remember this too when you were newer, and we do different team meetings and different classes with panels, and you listen to people tell their stories, and I watch the group of newest people kind of rolling their eyes with the whole, of course, you've been doing that for 30 years, and so therefore it doesn't feel like something that I can do here as a newer person. And so I always feel like it's helpful for agents to see other people that are within, a handful of years in the business can still also be very successful and what that might look like. And in particular for us, since we have such a nice sized group of people here at the office that are either currently in one of the phases of coaching or graduates of the program. So that's kind of how my idea sparked for the month of September. So I'm going to first bring up Kaitlyn to come on up and talk to us a little bit about her ideal client and target area in SOI business. Kaitlyn,
Do you want me to just like stand here or?
probably wherever Amanda told you. With
Okay.
a good spot to stand.
Okay, if I pull one of these up?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good. Okay, yep, you're good right there. Cool. Kaitlyn, she started out as Amanda. And so
Yeah.
she was in that role for a little bit and then decided, boy, I love what all these agents are doing, and then came into real estate. And since then, what I love about Kaitlyn is, you were very engaged in the coaching program. You also were one of those people that whenever I taught a class, I always knew that you were gonna go and do the thing. And
Try.
And you did, and I
Yeah.
love that. And so, but you've been able to really grow your business. How long now have you been licensed?
I'll be licensed 4 years in February.
Goes so fast.
I know, I
It's
was
crazy.
like, how did that happen? But
Yeah.
yeah, almost 4 years.
Awesome. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell the group, what kinds of things did you get started doing, and when did you know that one thing was going to be the thing that was going to bring you the most success?
Mm-hmm. And Kaitlyn, I started off working for Keller Williams in Amanda's role, and then I feel like had a little bit of an advantage because I was in the program before I was in the coaching
Yeah.
program.
Yeah, we shared an office.
Yeah, and so I was getting.
Stuffer.
You want me to mute them?
Hello. Eventually, you're gonna get them anyways.
So yeah, I had the advantage of hearing, from all the classes, everything that was happening before I got my license. So then when I got licensed, I knew a little bit going in, but so how did I pick SOI? Or
Yeah,
how did I?
what was the thing? Like, I know we talked
Yeah.
about so many different
Mhm.
ideas of lead generation. And for you, it was, I wanna work my SOI.
Yeah.
Louisville area, all that stuff.
Yeah, so basically, I started out like having no business, just like everyone else. And I would take those slow days and I would work on my database. Like I started by really, really, really focusing on my database and command. Um, I had like from my wedding invite list, I said, Mom, give me my wedding invite list, because she had like this spreadsheet of like everyone's names and addresses and phone numbers. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna start there. And then I put all of that. I put literally every contact in my phone, any contact in my mom's like Rolodex, like that I could find, and put them in my database. And then, you know, anything else I had in my email. My previous job, I worked at Starbucks as a manager. So I had a lot of Starbucks contacts. So I'm like, I'm gonna put all of them in, and I'm gonna tag them Starbucks. So I know you guys are probably gonna talk about tagging later, but just putting everyone in my database. And then what made me want to choose SOI is just as I got started, that's why I noticed that's where my business was coming from. So then, you know, after I looked back on things, I was like, I'm gonna focus more on my sphere of influence, family, friends, people you know. They don't have to be like in your immediate sphere. And then I also decided I want to promote myself as being in the Louisville area. So I would do a lot on social media. Um, I went and just joined all the Louisville groups, and I started friending people, like Facebook friending people, sending them friend requests. You know, some people thought I was a creep and whatever. Didn't, that's fine. Um, but then I'm posting things about real estate on my business page and inviting those people to like my business page. So that's where I started. Just I started noticing that my sphere of influence and the people on Facebook, that was turning into real business for me. So
Yep.
yeah.
And so then, what kinds of things, as you started to put people into command, I see you've got some mailers
Yeah.
and stuff there. So as you started adding them into command, what did you do? What was it? You can put them in there, they don't know that they're in your database
Yeah.
until you do some stuff. So what kinds of stuff did you start to do?
Yeah. So I did different things for people I know and people I don't know. So I know you talk a lot about your top 50.
Yep.
And so that was like something I ran with, really, and top 50 can start out as top 25 or however many you know. But I have on my like sample campaign schedule, just different mailers and things that I would make and either mail them out or hand them out. And you know, this is over 3 years. I don't do something like this every single month, but I do try to do something to touch my sphere and on Facebook every month. So like sending local market updates. This one is when I started out trying to farm a neighborhood in Louisville. Some of that worked, some things worked, some things didn't. So that was kind of a learning process, and it's kind of expensive to do as a first thing. So I figured social media is free. So I'm gonna start with social media and emailing, newsletters. But yeah, once they're in your database, setting them up on neighborhood nurtures, setting them up on email plans, smart plans, which Amanda can also help you with, but just making sure that they're in your database, receiving your emails. And it'll tell you when to text them, when to reach out. Hey, how are you doing? I did a lot of my like nurturing through Facebook. So in those slow months, I just remember like it was a rainy day and I just go through on my friends list in Facebook. You can filter, these are all your friends that live in Louisville. These are all your friends that have like something else in common. Like they all worked at Starbucks or something. And I would just send them kind of the same message, but I would tweak it a little bit. Hey, how's your vacation? How was your summer? Did you go on vacation? if you're ever thinking about real estate, think of me. And then I put my website in there, and then I would just try to engage and talk with them. And I would also track how many people responded to me, because I just need satisfaction. I just need to know, and it would help me. Like, because at the end of the day, I would say, all right, I messaged 100 people, and I had meaningful conversations with 15 of them, or something like that. So that helped me to think that I actually accomplished something
Mhm.
that day. So that's how I started with my database.
And I like, besides the tracking of it, it's
Mhm.
also important to know to have an expectation. If I reach out to 100 people, how many really would be a good number that I would be happy with responding and having a conversation?
Yeah.
It's not gonna be 50. We're
Mm-hmm.
not gonna have, like, that's just not gonna happen. I can't tell you how many text messages I send out to even agents in the coaching program, and I get random responses and directly texting, so
Mhm.
those are people that are actively working here with us. And people still don't, so imagine that it's someone that's in your database. So
Yeah.
knowing that 15 is a good number, it's a
Yeah.
really good number, actually.
Right, it's
Yeah.
like not, and I would even track if they just put a heart next to it because they just saw it. Because my goal is like, I just want them to know that I'm in real estate at first. I just want them to know. So if they open it up and read it, that's a good thing. They looked at it. And then over the years, I could see like some people wouldn't respond, and then 2 years later, they say, I have a real estate need. And I'm like, they knew I was in real estate. So and a lot of that was because of Facebook and just like nurturing on a social media level.
So do you think that you went into knowing that your ideal client was someone in your SOI? You knew that right away, it just happened to fall into place that way? What made you decide that was the one thing for you?
I think it was kind of from learning what the not ideal client was for me. Because at first I started to work with some investors, and then I realized I don't really like working with investors, no offense. Some people build their whole businesses around it, but I just realized I didn't love it. So then I was like, well, I want to more so focus on people I know and who are gonna refer my name, and I'm gonna get business. It's gonna start here, and then they're gonna refer my name out. So I think it just started because I had the contacts, and I wasn't afraid to like tell them I'm in real estate, and they kind of knew I had a business background already. So I guess that's how I decided. And for Louisville, I mean, the other reason is because I didn't want to like drive to Cleveland every day or something. Like I wanted to be local, and I wanted to be known as like the local real estate resource. So
Yeah, and so in addition to the mailings and social
Mhm.
media, what's like one particular thing that you do all the time to stay top of mind with everybody?
Definitely through social media and just like being consistently posting. Um, and then um staying in touch with my like people in my sphere. So I will intentionally like look at people that I know on Facebook and then comment on their stuff, but like something genuine, like, oh, how was your vacation? How are the kids? Oh my gosh, your dog is so cute. What's his name? Like trying to really interact with people and not just be like, I want people to know that I'm also a real person and not just like posting
So
about business.
You have a content schedule. And
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about that. And do you do that? How far in advance? Like, what are you
Yeah.
doing to kind of stay organized that?
So if you don't have this, it's in the back. So I would think of ideas. Something else I did, I'm circling back just to really get contacts. If you don't have contacts already in your database, I did giveaways, like social media giveaways. And I did a Louisville based one. So local businesses from Louisville. I actually went to the businesses and had them donate things to give away. And then that's how I got a lot of Louisville contacts in the first place. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of planning. Um, what is this month? September. So I'm already starting to plan for October, and it's almost too late. You know what I mean? So I'm thinking at least a month in advance. If you're gonna make anything, have anything printed, if you're gonna mail anything, those all take time. And I have something different for every month. So like February, you are the heart of my business. I would put like a little chocolate there, or I would do a $5 Starbucks gift card. Um, and, or like a coffee coupon, whatever you can, whatever you can find and send those. The lottery one, wishing you a lot of luck, sending those to your, top 50. Actually, Amanda told me today, you're not, it's illegal to send a lottery ticket in the mail.
Really?
So just hand them out. So don't do that. I know, I never knew that.
For the post office, so if you FedEx it, it sounds like the law goes hey, but it's.
Really?
Post here.
I didn't realize that until today, and I was like, I'm not
Nor did I.
breaking the law. I'm gonna set these down, because they're going everywhere.
So are you sending, so let's just talk about your top 50 there for a second.
Yeah,
Are you sending your top 50 something on Valentine's Day and something on St. Patrick's Day since they're so close, or those are just examples of different things you've done throughout the years?
those are examples of things I've done throughout the year, so, especially because I'm not gonna spend that much money every month, so something is just like, let's get you pre-approved. You can still send a mailer, but partner with your lender. You know, let's get pre-approved, and then it's you and your lender are co-branded. Some of them are just a social media post, or this is specifically gonna go in my newsletter, because I'm doing monthly newsletters also.
Now, is that in the smart plan, or how are you doing that?
Yes. Or a campaign. It's either a campaign or
meant, like,
it's a command.
Through command,
Yeah,
and it's not a physical mailing, you're doing
Correct.
all
It's
in,
an email.
got it.
Because you can also track who opens your newsletter, who clicks on what. And so if I see that someone's clicking on the pre-approval section, or what is the value of my home, then I'm gonna go reach out to that person and say, hey, I saw you, like, first I'm gonna make it natural, and then, hey, I saw that you were interested in getting pre-approved. Are you thinking about buying a house anytime soon? But no, not everything is like a physical mailer. Like, for example, for July, if you're not gonna do a giveaway, something that's really helpful and got a lot of shares is a 4th of July fireworks schedule. For October, you can do the trick or treat schedule. Those things get shared a lot because it's things that are helpful that people actually want to see. Something that I'm doing this year is the football schedules. Last year I did just the Louisville High School, and I'm like, it was a good idea, but I don't really care about Louisville High School unless I have a child in high school in Louisville. So then I broadened it to the Cleveland and Ohio State, and I'm gonna pass them out at a parade next month. So I'm gonna be in like the Louisville parade or whatever. But then I also mailed them to my top 50, and people I've been running into, I got your calendar, I got your football schedule, and they'll say, but I don't like Cleveland, I like blah, 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 and I'm like, oh, sorry, but they remembered it.
Conversation,
It's a
yes.
conversation.
Even as they throw it in the trash,
Yeah,
they remember it.
but it's got Monday night and Sunday night on the back.
Very good.
So, no, I'm not doing a physical mailer every single month, but I am, for December, posting the light up downtown events in your local community, or like the big ones. Doing a trunk or treat. We did a coloring page one year. That's just, 2 cents at the office per page, but you don't have to do super expensive things, especially at first.
You
But you can
recently
do
did
a
an
couple.
event. What was that?
Yes, I did. I did my client appreciation event, and I had that was like mainly I got 5 or 6 sponsors. So the people that I've been working with, I wanted to wait a couple years until I did one because I didn't have that many clients at first, but we did it at my church, and so the venue was free, and there's a park, so kids could come, or like a little playground. And then we had a bounce house, food, we had milk and honey ice cream truck,
Nice.
and then the balloon artist that we had at the Easter egg hunt.
Okay.
So that was just another thing. That was my event for like June and July, because in June, I'm reaching out to people and telling them about the event via email, social media. I made a Facebook group, like an event, and then I would post in the event and post the raffles. So even if they weren't coming to the event, they saw it, and they're like, oh, that's so nice, whatever. So
Yeah. So how did you determine who got those invites?
well, I started out as it was just going to be my past clients and current clients, but then I expanded it a little bit to my sphere. So basically anyone that's in my sphere that has ever asked me about a house or might ask me about a house. So I didn't want to make it like a public, it's not like a public event because that's just a different type of event. But yeah, a lot of people in my sphere and a few people that haven't bought yet or they bought 3 years ago with me came. So yeah, just for sphere because I did want it to be like appreciation.
Sure, and
So
enough people there.
yes,
Good turnout.
yeah. I'm like at first I was like, oh my gosh, everyone's on vacation. So
Yeah,
but everything was free for the clients. Like you don't have to pay anything for anything because the sponsors sponsored everything. So
very good.
yeah.
Yeah. So when someone says, and I know I get this question a lot for people in coaching, they'll watch a class that we've done a topic on, or they see something online. And I've had this question a lot. I don't understand how people are getting business from Facebook. I don't know how you can post a personal picture with you walking your dog and how that turns into business. I don't know how mailing out football calendars is going to get you real estate business. How do all those things that you do actually get you real estate business?
That's a good question. It's basically it. I mean, the answer that no one wants to hear is just it's consistency.
Yeah.
Because there isn't a magic button like to make people, but it's staying top of mind. Like every time you do it, every calendar and mailing things is really expensive these days. So I understand not wanting to mail, but you can put them in your local coffee shops. You can. That's why I decided last year I mailed out like 1,500 of these. It was super expensive, so I'm like, I'm not doing that again. I'm gonna pass them out in the parade. But yeah, just it's consistency and it's offering value. Like there have been agents in the past that just are posting selfies constantly. That's okay, but it's not like offering value. So I'm trying to offer value from the community. Here's some community events and here's a market update and like also trying to be genuine. Here's a little bit about my life. And I wasn't really into social media before real estate, but I'm like, if that's the route that you're going, you have to be. And people have, I mean, everyone that you are interviewing this month has a different approach. So like that prospecting paper I put, that's like a bunch of different ways and sources to find where your business is coming from. And I think you did a class, Where Do My Leads Come From, one time, and that one stuck out to me because you can get leads from anywhere, but picking one or two things and like really sticking with those things very consistently, and then dropping something that's not working. Like I found out early on that farming wasn't really working and it was really expensive and time consuming. And I'm like, I don't want to spend my time doing this. I'm going to spend my time planning out social media posts instead. And I felt like that has more of a return. So
Yeah, because depending on what you want to do, farming can be, as you said, very expensive, but it's also a long-term payout. So that could take at least 2 years before you ever see anything if you do. And the key there, of course, is consistency, just like you said.
Yeah, so it's like you have to have a co-brand with your lender or something.
Right.
But yeah.
I mean, I think I recently heard Jake from the locker room say, you don't get fit going to the gym for 4 hours on Sunday. You get fit going to the gym 4 hours, 4 different days, and not jam it all in one time. So when you send out one mailing to a neighborhood and then say, I'm so disappointed I sent 250 mailings and I didn't get one call.
Yeah.
There's that lack of the consistency, so.
Interestingly, I sold like 3 houses on my street I used to live on. But that was more so from just hanging out outside, being a neighbor. Networking, yeah. So, and they're still on my mailing list. I still send them stuff. But it's not, it's more so because I was friending them on Facebook and posting about Louisville stuff.
I was like, all of the houses. Sure, there's one that you may not be sending to.
Somebody might have helped me out one of those deals. Yeah. Yeah.
So how do you hold yourself accountable when you don't feel like doing it today? You have a little one at home, there could be distractions, like how do you keep yourself doing it
Mhm.
consistently?
Scheduling, like putting it in your calendar. But also for some people, it might work to do a little bit every day or have a bigger block of time and do it once a week. So, like for me, I only have childcare so many certain days. So, like that almost being busier at home almost helps me because I'm like, I have 3 days of 2.5 days of childcare. I really need to get in the most important stuff in those 3 days. And then I mean, you're on Facebook every day. You can go at night and comment on people's things. I mean, I also have help. I'm not gonna lie. I don't do it all. I hire out some of it.
That's part of your business though.
Yes, because
That's not,
because I want it to be consistent.
Yes.
So I'm like, I don't have time at this stage in my life to make all the posts, but I do think about it. I come up with the ideas. And then I go back and look at what posts, on your business page, you can see which ones were, had more likes and more comments. And then I'm like, all right, well, that worked. Let's do more of that and like get it in a rotation. So creating a like social media schedule.
So one more thing and then we'll go to questions. If there's one piece of advice that you can give brand new agents or new-ish agents growing their business, what would be a priority for something that you would give advice on in their first 90 days?
In your first 90 days, I would say build your database because no matter where you're getting your leads from, you need to keep track of them somewhere. And then you have their information. And then I would also say like having a social media presence is very, very important, even if you're not a social media person. Because I wasn't before I had it, but I was just like, I looked at things, but I would say having a social media presence, building your Facebook business page, and then having a database is gonna help you no matter what route you end up going with like where your leads are coming from. So,
And building your database could be not just your SOI, it could be
Yes.
internet leads, it could be open house, it could be any of the different sources of business.
mhm.
I always say this to agents that are getting, in particular, internet leads. I'm always so confused why, if the person doesn't want to buy or sell a house right now, that we don't look at them as still someone who should be in our database because we have their correct name, their correct email address, and their correct phone number. And wouldn't that be what we're searching for if we decide to door knock and get doors slammed in our face? Like, we're getting all their same information. And if they say, I don't wanna buy a house, why would we not still try to market to them in some way about the community?
Yeah.
Or why would they maybe not
Valuable
wanna?
things,
Yes,
yeah.
exactly, the same way you should handle your database that are people that you know, to me, is the same way you should handle your database for someone who says, no, I'm not interested.
Mhm.
Okay, great. If ever in the future, or would you just like community information like the fireworks or
Yeah.
whatever? And honestly, if they gave you their correct information, they can unsubscribe.
Yeah,
That's the worst thing.
yeah.
They
I
can
mean,
always unsubscribe.
you can still put people in your database that like didn't want to talk to you at all at your open house, but they wrote down their email address. I go find them on Facebook and I friend them.
Yep. Why
And
not?
they were like, oh yeah, I guess I remembered you.
I mean, surely we don't all know the 3,000 or 4,000 friends we have in Facebook. Like anymore, my feed is of 25 strangers. I have no idea who they are. And they're just friends and I like it, but I don't even know what to say. Like all my birthdays that come up,
oh yeah,
I have a hard time saying happy birthday anymore because I'm like, who the hell is that? Who the hell is that? Who the hell is that? It's just because I've been spending a lot of time friend requesting people. So that'll happen.
yeah, yeah. And then you might actually meet someone you're like, we are actually friends on Facebook. Yeah.
too, here's a good one, and I had coffee with somebody and her son is actually in real estate school, so it wasn't like to help her find real estate, but maybe to get a recruit. She was someone who I had 47 mutual friends with.
Yeah.
And she said to me, thank you so much for friend requesting me. I see we have 47 mutual friends.
Mhm.
And I said, yes, we do. And then we just started talking and I started talking about real estate and then we ended up meeting in Tremont for coffee and now I found out that her son's in real estate school. Like, it could have been that they want to sell their mother-in-law's house or something, or who knows what it was.
Mhm.
She took the time to meet me for coffee. So it was a great connect and networking with a total stranger from social
Right.
media, but look at that, if you don't know what to say. Wow, it feels like I should know you since we have 197 mutual friends.
That's how yeah, because sometimes there's a setting where you just can't go out and friend random people. You have to have something in common with them. But I just went on my like church's page. I'm like, I don't know everyone in my church, so I'm gonna like go and just start friending people, or your mom group, or soccer club, like whatever it is that you or your kids or whatever are involved with.
So, thank you.
Yeah.
Questions? Anybody
Yeah.
on Zoom want to unmute yourself and ask any questions? Anyone here in the room have anything? All right, thank you.
You guys can take, if you like any of those examples back there, you can take them.
Awesome.
The mailer stuff, so.
Mike and Tara.
Yeah.
Move your seat over.
That's okay.
I'll tell you where you're, yeah. Yep, she's like golden, yeah, she said, right inside. Well, thank you guys so much. It's great to see you joining us today.
Yes.
So same like as Kaitlyn, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tara, you go first since you came in the business first. Was it a year before Mike? Or
About that, well, a
Almost two,
little
yeah,
over.
2 years, yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay.
started October of 21.
okay,
You were 23.
Yeah, March 23.
Yeah, so a year and a half.
awesome.
So
So tell us a little bit about, what that business looked like, how Mike came into the business with you. What did those early days look like? And, when did you decide like, okay, this is the thing that's gonna work and this is what we're gonna focus on?
I think what I did a lot before Mike is I walked around our neighborhood a lot. Um, and I too, like Kaitlyn, found out it is so time consuming. I did get a deal out of it.
I
though.
remember.
I mean, that's,
I can picture the situation.
yeah, it was pretty cool, but, I mean, what else did I mean, I was on Boomtown
You
a
were
little
on
bit
Boomtown, yeah.
and trying to work those leads, but then I found out like, I mean, it is hard. And again, it's consistency and I tried doing that. Having 3 boys, sometimes it is a little difficult to keep that consistency, so.
But I like that, like, just like other people, it didn't just happen overnight.
Right.
And you still stuck to it.
Yes.
You still, I can picture us in the conference rooms a couple of times where you were like, is this even for me?
Yes.
And I was like, I know that it is, keep plugging through, like, there's just those times, and as we'll hear throughout the month. I mean, we've got a lot of people with stories, remember Eric Henry telling me, maybe the first year in there that he was like, I don't know if I can make
Mhm.
it, and he was just about to hit that success ceiling and break through, and he didn't know it. You don't always know when that one thing's gonna happen,
That's
right?
true. Yeah. So for us, I basically went in and made sure that I knew what I was doing, what paperwork to do, what programs to use. And so I got all settled there, got a couple deals, and then Mike used that information and I talk about you because this.
Yeah, you created the foundation for us, really.
Well, yeah, because
Um,
you wanted to learn, I remember being like,
Yes, I was
I
a
love
learner.
that, she was wanting to learn, and I love that, because you wanted to build, like you said, the foundation. And really know what to do, you didn't want to go to an appointment and not have the answer.
Yes.
Which I think is great, because we aren't all that organized, so.
But now I feel like, whenever you're a teenager, you feel like you know everything. And now I'm an adult in this and I know I don't know everything with this. And I'm okay with going into a meeting now and knowing I don't know the answer.
Yeah.
Awesome, and how did you evolve into this, Mike? Tell us what you did before and how that helped you in this business.
Okay, so obviously Tara started first. We originally had another company and Tara decided that we wanted to shut that down and move into real estate. I was working my full-time job, which I used to manage call centers, and my entire background is in sales. I used to be in radio, television, used to go out and pound the pavement. I didn't wait for a lead. I had to actually go create the lead. Then I got into managing call centers, and I think that's where the experience comes in because I used to create systems about follow-up and about creating a funnel on how to close. And usually it was you got to close the deal right then and there. The nurturing side of it, I had to kind of remember when I came into productivity, I was like, oh, they don't want to buy real estate right now. That's fine. You know, it can be a year from now. It can be 2 years from now. You know, and creating that follow-up. So that's something that I really picked up from the coaching side of it. But when I came over, what we did, since we're a husband and wife team, is we separated because Tara's background is marketing and making things look pretty. I clearly like to talk. And so I got on the phone and I started blowing things up, and I immediately, got some deals under contract, and I had no idea what I was doing. And Tara was fixing my mistakes as we were going through, but I was talking to people, and that was the big thing, is just getting on the phone and calling, and creating a system for us there. So that's kind of my background. Like I said, is I knew how to call people, but Tara helped guide us through what to do after we actually got a deal.
And then, so let's talk about source of business for you guys, and then I know one of the things that I hear you talk about, Mike, in particular, is doing your 100 days of greatness or your 100 calls every day, or, what gives you that motivation to keep picking up the phone and even though you get hung up on?
Well, the biggest motivation is the simple fact that we committed to this full time, and if we don't pick up the phone, we don't eat. Our kids don't eat. So it's making sure that we're able to feed them. But the biggest motivation, um, eh, so you, going back to my sales training days, is a simple fact that knowing that, to what Kaitlyn was talking about earlier, you're not going to have a great conversation with every single person. You're going to have a conversation with 10 to 15 people if you call 100, and then hopefully, by the end of the month, you have a 3% close rate. And what I used to tell people is success is 97% failure, and that's okay. Is that you're not going to close every single person. So my biggest thing, and Tara hears me do this every day because I'm making the calls, and I'm usually got between 85 to 100 tasks a day that I'm calling or texting or doing something on, and it's when I get down to that last 10, and I'm like, I'm done. I don't want to do this. Mentally, I'm not there, but I have to put on the face saying, hey, you know what? Let's just do this, because I don't know how many days I've been surprised and somebody picks up and be like, hey, you know what? Actually, I'm really glad you called me. Let's set up a meeting, because that's always my goal on those calls, is to get them into a meeting, to get them into a consultation, to find out what their plan is. My intent is not to try to sell them on the phone right there. It is to bring them in for a meeting, because once we sit them down and they see our face, they sign an agreement, we 90% of the time we close them as a client. So there have been times where I'm like, at the end of the day, let's just bust through it. Let's get this call. Maybe it wasn't during my time block of what I set aside to do it. Maybe I had to do that call at 6 o'clock, but I'm going to get through these calls somehow. So it's the biggest motivation is I don't want to miss that opportunity.
Yeah. Well, and I love, because so many people also are like, I want to quit my other job, and my motivation is I need to make enough money so I can quit my other job. And yet there's still some stumbling block that pushes them to, like, it gets in their way from doing the work. So how do you stay motivated? Even, we know that you have to feed your children, they're all over your shirt there,
Yeah.
I see that, they need to feed their own people.
Yes.
And so but when you've had, I'm just over it, and maybe I should try something different, what else can we do? Cause I know for you guys, a big part of your business is these calls that you make. And so we're thinking, well, who are you calling every day to have 100 people? So what keeps you doing it, and how are you getting those people? Where are all these calls coming from?
So, we put together a wide variety of lead sources. Obviously we have online leads, we still do Facebook, we do open houses, we have our SOI, we nurture that. Like we just did a client event as well, and we invited people, we rented out a movie theater and said, hey, come on in, we're gonna do we showed Shrek. Our great admin Bree set that up for us. She helped organize the entire thing. But what we did is said, hey, if you can't make it, go ahead and invite someone else. So we had new people coming in that we've never met before and having the opportunity to talk real estate with them. So we do a lot of events, we go out, we do shows, where we're in the community talking with people, and then we bring them back and we consolidate it all into a long spreadsheet. Once again, Bree, our admin, she's phenomenal.
And
She-
it's so quick. So
Yes, she puts it all together for us, but that's where, Tara's expertise is about the tagging and keeping track of it. I don't know if you wanted to speak on that or.
it's really just tagging them however it makes sense. So if they're a potential buyer, you tag them as buyer, seller, you tag as seller. Whatever the event was, maybe the year, if it's a repeating event. If there's any special name, like if you had a Facebook, you do like Facebook, and then spring, Easter.
Yeah.
I don't know, post or something like that.
If it came from an open house, we put down what the address was, so that way when I'm calling them, I have reference as to how did we contact this person, what's a conversation that makes sense, and then also we go through and we build out pretty much a whole funnel of what we want to follow through. Like we do a qualify, we do a 6-month nurture, a 9-month follow up, and then we still have long term. They all fall into that funnel. Obviously, hopefully they turn into the sale there, but we have additional campaigns built, or smart plans based off of what they tell us, to make sure that we have that follow up about that specific event um, or the lead source ultimately. So I know what to talk about on the next call. Cause I think that's one of the biggest things is it's, I can't always call them and say, hey, do you wanna buy real estate? Hey, do you wanna buy real estate? It's more of being that source of information. It's, hey, do you need to know an update about what's going on in your area? Hey, I just sent you a text message the other day. I wanna make sure that you received it. What is your ultimate goal? How can we assist? It's not about just selling. It's more of, can I be a source of information for you down the
And
line?
making them comfortable with you.
Yeah,
And I think is if the client or potential client's gonna be comfortable with you, then they're gonna choose you.
So do you guys, where did you start to know what to say? I know you manage a call center and stuff, but different product, right? Now you're selling yourself, you're selling real estate, you're selling your vision of what you want to do to help the community and help people. How do you know what to say? And do you decide today, I'm using this script and I'm calling 100 people using that same script, or am I just calling this list and I'll know how to pivot what I'm gonna say? And are you guys practicing scripting? How often? Please don't say never. But yeah, what do you guys do with all that?
so I have this annoying habit. If you ever notice me, if I'm thinking, I'm playing out scenarios in my head. I'm actually talking to myself, which is a bad thing.
Yeah.
So I'm scripting inside my head, and I call them word tracks, basically based off what they say, what would be a response. But the big thing is to your real question there, about what do I say? I don't follow a particular script each day. I literally went through and built out a 3-year plan of what I'm gonna be talking to these people
In
about
command.
in command.
Yeah.
And then if command prompts me, this is where I get the, 80 to 100 tasks a day, because based off of what I've told command to do, I've already pre-scripted, hey, this is what I'm going to talk about. It's going to be based off the.
That's
Yeah, it's that step. It tells me, okay, they're in a 6-month nurture. Okay, hey, I know you're a little bit farther away. What information do you need from me right now? But I've literally built my script about 3 years out.
So it's specific to each contact?
It's specific to the process and then based off of the tags that we put in.
Like if they're buyer, seller. Okay.
Yeah, and then I just adjust it slightly from there. Yeah.
It's awesome.
But I'm constantly updating our smart plans, because like I said, it's a 3-year plan for us to stay in contact with them.
Awesome. So what, are you tracking the average time that, I mean, you guys have been doing, how long have you been doing this, Mike?
2023.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you, obviously now you've merged together, you're selling enough houses that you've hired an admin, so you've had to make a decision at that point, okay, we're doing well enough that we can do that. So things are flowing very well.
Yes.
You're a team now, really. And so what's, what tracking are you doing so that this person needs to be on a long-term plan? Or how do you know what might pop? And if there was someone from an event, am I just looking for referrals from them? Like what kind of system? I know you guys are really good about staying organized, being on systems other than tagging. what kinds of things are you doing to stay on top of it? And then what is the average time? I know people are wondering when you're dealing with a lot of strangers from the beginning, right? So different than what Kaitlyn was doing with SOI, you're dealing with a lot of strangers. And so how am I keeping track of what my averages are? If it's gonna take a year, it's gonna take 2 years, because I love that you said that, because a lot of people, I just was talking to someone earlier today about, people want this right now business. Well, 2 years goes by fast, and I'm really happy to hear you say that you tag by the year too, because I promise you, before you know it, you're in the business 10 years, so you can look back and go, oh my gosh, did I meet that person in 2022?
Yeah.
So how are you handling staying organized with all that? It's a lot of people, it's a lot of database.
And I think, to answer the question, it really depends on the lead source, so that's why we also tag the lead source, so we can track that to make sure, to what you were saying earlier, is that lead source worth paying for, is we actually getting our ROI on it? When we have, something like Realtor.com or even potentially Facebook, those might actually close a little bit faster, because they're a little bit further into the process. Whereas when we go out and we do a show, those people, they might be a year or 2 years out. Like, for example, I have a meeting tonight with a buyer consult with somebody we met a year and a half ago at a show, and she's like, I'm ready now. And
It's a fine show.
we go out, we do events in the community. This one happened to be a wedding show, where basically people who are getting married, eventually planning on buying a house. So we met them at one of these shows, and honestly, I never thought I'd hear from her again. And most of it's been automated. It's using Twilio, and it's saying automated text. And then I sent her, I guess I called her about a month ago. I don't really remember. I mean, and I have to go back and look at my notes because I keep track of everything. Command, I write down what it is, so that way I can have a reference point. And she's like, oh yeah, we're getting pre-approved. Let's meet. Okay, great. And she's sending me houses now that she wants to see. So yeah. So that's where using command and using the automation, using Twilio, allowing it to leverage the assistance there for you, it is huge for us. So going back to the original question, it depends on the lead source, but usually I'd say 6 months to a year before most people close, which is why you gotta stay on the grind of constantly calling, because you never know. One of my favorite leads, one of my favorite deals actually, was we closed last year. I teach down at the city of Cannes for a new home buyer program, and it's, these people, they have no idea what they're doing. And it's not a bad thing, not to say anything bad about them, but they're new to home buying. So we're in there teaching a class, and I get her information. I follow up with her. The first 3 times I called her, she hung up on me, and I made a note of that. And then I get a text 6 months later, hey, I'm ready to buy. And I'm like, what? And then Jada has a wonderful house down on 13th Street. Like, I mean, and she absolutely loves it. So, and just because they hang up on you doesn't mean that they don't want to. It's just maybe that wasn't a good time. Don't let that deflect you, because if you're making 80 to 100 calls a day, or even if you're making 50 calls a day, you might have just caught them at a bad time. But as long as as long as you are top of mind with them because you're staying consistent, it eventually will turn over.
We actually had a couple of clients that said, you do a really good job at being annoyed.
Nice.
And I was like, oh, I can kind of believe it.
Yeah.
Awesome. So what's next? What's next for you guys? We're always, looking at the internet leads and stuff, and now I'm assuming those are turning into past clients and doing different things. What are you planning for next year? Have you thought that far ahead? Are you guys always thinking, like I was talking to Kaitlyn about putting her content together for the month ahead? What else? What's gonna happen next?
I think for next year, me and Bree, we're looking at different shows and seeing what's happening for next
Yeah.
year. We've already put down on a couple of them, the bigger ones. Want to make sure that we're in there. We're making sure that we're keeping those connections with the leaders there.
So yeah, I mean, that's one of the ways about bringing in additional resources. I'm always looking about how can I make our database better, and going through and looking at our actual leads that are in there and pulling what is actually who's opening, who's not opening. Do we need to update information? I'm also looking at our long-term marketing. And when I look at long-term marketing, this is just general branding that eventually everyone goes into. I'm not always consistently calling them. I do one call a year with them, but everyone falls in that bucket. Now I'm realizing like some of our past clients are in that, and it's on a 9-month rotation. But I'm like, I need to update them to talk. I need to put them on a separate one about, okay, let's talk about referrals. Let's talk about, um, basically it's a little, they should be in a separate category than the other long-term marketing. So we're constantly improving the database that we've already built, and just literally everyone you talk to goes into your database. You never know. Because like the SOI on Facebook, all of a sudden I had my sister's friend reach out to us and say, hey, you're still a realtor, right? And I'm like, I haven't talked to you and really since pretty much you changed my diapers. Like I mean, sometimes in between that, but like, she's like, yeah, okay, and we ended up helping them buy a house, and then we're selling their house right now. So you never know who your database really is. So everyone goes into it, and that
How
would
many do you think you have in there?
about 6,000 right now. We've it's compared to when we first came over. I mean, I know that first year we got it up to about 1,000. And our goal this year was to get it up an additional 6,000. So we want to have 7,000 by the end of the year.
Nice.
Yeah.
Any questions? Any other thoughts you guys have for, in particular, new people growing their business and using, database as the core source of business?
I think with the database especially, take a second and pause and make a plan before you actually do it. Cause you can always fix tags, for example, you can always fix information you put in there, but it's so much easier if you can just upload everything correctly the first time, at least near the beginning, and then you don't have to redo all your mistakes.
Yeah, so are you talking about like doing the file upload from your phone into Command, that kind of thing, or just audit the people you're adding in?
Yeah, I mean, and then like whenever, I guess I haven't done my phone yet, but I'm slacking there. But like if you have a spreadsheet and plan it out on the spreadsheet first and then upload.
Got it. Yeah,
I'd say the biggest thing is to that point, once you make that plan and you have your flow of whatever you're going to do, and not just built into whatever CRM you're using, but your overall plan for the year, make sure to make the calls, do the work. You'll be surprised how many times people actually pick up. I was making calls right before I came in here, and the lady's like, "Oh yeah, I was expecting your call." And I'm like, "Man, okay, it's been like 3 weeks since we met, but I'm glad I picked up and called her, and we're gonna have a meeting in 2 weeks."
I have a question.
Yes.
How do you convince, how do you, going from a call from someone that you don't know, I'm assuming, how do you get them to like confirm, like meet with you? How do you get them to the appointment? And is it always like a buyer consultation, or is it like, we're just gonna get coffee and like chat about your needs type of thing? Like,
Great. So I prefer to bring them into the office. So I'll answer the second part first. I prefer to bring them into the office because I like to set the expectation that we are professionals, and I want to meet them here, so it's on our home turf. Because of the way that we do the buyer console or the listing console, we like to come in here and show them what's up on the big screen in the conference room. It's almost a show.
yeah,
We prefer not to meet them at coffee shop, and just because there's so many distractions there.
That, and then whenever it, before you, I would take people out, to have like a quick brunch or go to the coffee shop, and I found that there was a decent amount of people that were just looking for a free lunch.
Mhm.
And I'm like, I'm tired of just supplying people food all the time, so. I mean,
Yeah, no, I mean, that's exactly it. So we want to set the expectation. We come here, we are the professionals. We're not, because I forget it sometimes. I'm like, oh, I'm a big boy. I I have a big boy job. But we bring them in here to set an expectation.
I hope you're not wearing that shirt.
Actually, it is pretty nice. I also want to set an expectation of what you're gonna get. Like I'm a professional, but we're gonna be laid back. I don't yeah, anyway, so the other thing is about convincing them to come in is I just explained, hey, if I'm calling, number one, I'm not cold calling because it is a lead that they submitted to have more information. And that's where whenever I have the lead source, I do what's called read the lead. What's the lead source? What information do I know about them? What is based off that lead source? What is a typical intention? And I'm going through saying, hey, number one, you contacted me. Okay. You're the one that was interested in this. And I'd love to sit down with you. Our thing is that we're here to assist. We figure out kind of what your plan is. Where are you at on the buyer or the selling path? And let's just come in and talk. I just remind them like number one, we don't get paid until we actually close the deal for you. So there's nothing wrong with coming in and sitting down with us. And if it doesn't work out, that's fine. We're happy to just consult with you. But we come in and bring them into the office, we sit them down, we have a whole our pamphlet about what the process is, information to help them out. We talk about their needs. Number one, what is the reason why they want to buy? Why are they even having this question? Are they looking to invest? Are they, what area are they looking on? If they're going to be in Cleveland, it's probably really not for us anymore. We probably will refer that out. If they're going on to Columbus, not for us. But if they're going to be in this area, we'll help them out. It's to figure out what I like to call a game plan. And then we have them sign the buyer consult, we have them sign the buyer agreement. And we tell them like, hey, even if you don't buy right now during this period, that's fine. We can always extend it out. But your first step is going out and getting a pre-approval. And now I then set them up on a different smart plan because I've qualified them, I've got them in, and now it's just a follow up to, hey, what's going on? And I might put them on what's called a hot drip for us. And that is just for me to remind myself to check in. Other ones that they're further out and they haven't got a pre-approval yet, it's gonna send some automated text messages to free up my time. But the people who have free approvals and are looking, I have them on a hot drip, just hey, what's going on with them?
But right before this meeting though, is we always say, this is part of the process. So if you want to work with us, this is your first step.
Sure.
And if you don't want that, then choose somebody else, but we're not random people. Like there's a specific way that we're gonna help you out to make sure that you have all your information.
I feel like that's really good when you don't know the people. Like, of course, even if you do know the people, but like, it's good that you meet them first.
It's a
Not at the
protection
house.
standard too.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, and I prefer to bring them into the office because, we forewarn them, is there any issues there? I hate, and I also explained to them, I was like, especially just being honest, like a realtor.com lead, they want to go see a house. Well, I get it, let's go see a house, but we just want to sit down with you and get to know what you're looking for because we're going to represent you. Whereas if we just go meet at this house, I have a whole bunch of paperwork that you need to sign and I don't want to scare you with it. I actually want to explain it to you because we are professionals and we're going to take the time to explain any paperwork you sign. So we need you to invest in yourself first by giving us some time so we can properly help you. But if they absolutely refuse, I will meet them at the house, but I also remind them, hey, we're not seeing this until you sign this paperwork. And I've had a couple people like, yeah, no, not doing it. I was like, great, you have a nice day. I can't show you the house. Because I'm not gonna lose my license. But most people, they're like, okay, we'll sign the paperwork. And then I say, we still need to schedule time to sit down because I didn't learn everything I need to know about you.
I love that. Anybody on Zoom with any questions?
Oh, please on Zoom. Okay.
Oh, hey.
I have a question. How long do you have them sign the buyer representation?
Great question. So we do 6 months. Yep.
And there's no exception from that unless they wanna do longer. We're not gonna just do a day or a weekend or whatever. It's gonna be a 6-month period because we're only gonna take on people that are committed.
Yep.
And as far as a listing agreement, how long do you list the house for? 6 months?
6
A year?
months,
6
yeah.
months.
I would say it depends on the listing. We don't really like to do anything that's more investment properties. We've learned from experience.
Michael's learned.
I've had some fun stuff, but we tell them like, hey, we're gonna do 6 months. We don't expect it to be this long. But we want to make sure that we don't have to go back and re-sign paperwork. It just gives us enough time to do it.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. That was so great.
Excellent. Thank you.
I'm glad that it landed today that both of you guys could talk because it's completely different styles of doing business, different sources. And then everyone just kind of works through as you're figuring it out, what's the thing that's gonna work best for me, so. Anything else? Does anyone else have any questions for me, for anybody here, or any thoughts on Zoom or here? If not, thank you guys so much for coming.
I
Don't
have a
forget
question.
on the 26th. Go ahead. Kamisha.
So and it is also a couple other questions in the chat. I'll actually say what Zach's question was. He said, "How do you convince people you're the best option to work with, or do you let them choose you?"
I'll come back up.
Yeah, come on. I don't have my computer in front of me, Kamisha, so thank you for going through the chat. It's not
No,
showing
you're
up on the
fine.
screen.
Yeah, unless you want to take this.
We can tag team it.
So one of the ways I convince people that we're the best option, I remind people, me and Tara, we have a unique dynamic, a simple fact that we are a husband-wife team. I remind people that, hey, we are a team and you truly do get a BOGO. You get both of us, and it's nice because we think differently. We explain this to our clients that we think differently, so we are looking at it from multiple angles, and we will bounce ideas off each other to remind them. So, because like I might miss something, and Tara's going to pick it up. That's usually how it is. But it's a benefit because you get a true team working for you, and not saying that any individual, but that's just kind of our selling point. And then we also remind people about that we have a team with an admin, and we also have a transaction coordinator. We have a whole support system. And the other thing we tell them, we are not here to sell you anything. We are here to assist, and just explain the options. So when we sit down with them in that first consult, and usually it's we're doing a 6-month agreement, and they're not ready for 3 months. We're like, that's fine. We're not going to force you to look at anything. We're not going to force you to look at your $200,000 cap. If you want to look at 100 to 150, whatever your range is, we're going to stay there. So we put people with ease that we're here to work for them, not to try to sell them anything.
Okay. And his other question was, and you did kind of answer this earlier though. How are you building initial trust with potential clients, especially communicating over the phone?
Well, the big thing is I'm calling them and asking them how can I help them and how can I be of assistance. Um, I and my favorite line that I use a lot is, "Hey, this isn't random. You contacted me." I have to remind them and make them to bring down their guards, because at first I am just a voice calling them and they don't know me. For the people that are outside of my SOI, but for the people that are just random internet leads, I gotta remind them, hey, you called me, just or hey, maybe did a friend or family member sign you up? Have you been looking? Okay, you're not looking to buy right now, and that's common. I tell people most time when people contact me, they're usually 3 to 6 months out, maybe even a year. Does that sound about right? And they're like, yeah. Okay, great. Well, how can we help out? Because if you just try to buy when you think you're ready, you're not ready. If you haven't talked to anybody, have you talked to a loan officer? Do you know what do you know what kind of loan you have? I just remind people, hey, it's nice to sit down and talk with us. That's the biggest way of building trust, is that unfortunately you got to remind them that they might not know everything. I know it's horrible, but it's the truth. Like, we do this on a daily basis, and I'm still learning stuff, and they do it once every 7 to 10 years. Do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I would just say I would just say my approach is a little different because you're convincing people that you know to use you in a professional sense. So even if it's a family member, like doing business with friends and family can be weird sometimes. So like that's why like I make all my little packets and I want to come off as professional. Not that, I'm just goofing around the rest of my life, but sometimes I am. But just like coming off as professional. And then another like way to get people to build trust with me is that I'll just talk about it in my social circles, but not as a salesy way, but like, oh, I had this at this house that I was showing, I saw a weird rocking horse thing in the attic. And like I'll just talk about it and they'll remember, like, and then they'll start to ask me questions about real estate. So that's how I'm real with people and I build trust that way. So.
Isn't it the coolest thing that basically you go out with a group of friends and you don't even have to bring it up?
No.
They're the ones that actually bring up what's
Yeah.
going on with real
I
estate.
try not to bring it up, which is probably not what you should do, but like, I'll just tell stories and be my genuine self. Because I don't like being salesy, especially to friends and family. So, yeah, that's how I build trust.
And
Is there anything
then,
else, Carmisha? Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, one last one, for both of you. Just, I know, Mike, it could be a little easier with you having Tara, so it's like that's your motivation to, get things done and stay consistently because, you have her to not like push you, but you guys, I know you both have a plan to actually, achieve the goal. But even for you, Kaitlyn, what's your trick on staying consistent, even when you know the things that you are doing will eventually start making the progress that you're looking for, but it's not, but you know that you have to stay consistent and do it. So pretty much it's like, what's that motivation to actually keep you doing it, even if it's not working for you at the moment?
That's a good question.
Gina, you
The
can
trick is
even
just,
join in too.
I would say just knowing your why. And do you enjoy it? Because if you're trying to be consistent with something you absolutely hate, that might be a sign, try something different and then be consistent with that thing. Because like I said at first, I was thinking I really wanted to do farming, like sending mailers to a geographic location, and I didn't love it. It wasn't what I was good at. So like if you're gifted, I'm talented at doing XYZ, like really dive deep into those things. So like and for me, I'm a very like results driven person, and at first you're not going to get results. So that's why for my brain I tracked things whenever I was reaching out to people. Like I would send that same Facebook message to 100 people, and then I would track I friended this many people. Like I would track the things that you can track, like track the measurable things. How many people responded to me? Did I get their information in my database? Did I get them on a smart plan? You can track all those things. So for me, that's something that I did.
Well, and the win is the small goals within the main goal, right?
Yes.
And the goal might just be getting through your 100 calls today, or getting 15 people to respond to me, like that was a win.
Mm-hmm.
Also, just getting an appointment.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The win this week is if I wanna sell 25 houses in 1 year, it's a numbers game, people. I gotta do anything I have to do, if I wanna sell 25 houses in 12 months, I need one new appointment every week, that's it. That's what it amounts to, one new, meaning not, I showed them a house last week and now I'm showing a house this week.
Yeah.
One new appointment every week results you to 25 transactions. So that means I gotta do whatever I gotta do, and if it's Friday night and I haven't gotten that appointment yet, then I'm not doing whatever I was gonna do on Saturday, I have to keep doing it. And so those are the wins, and I'll say this, I think I talked about this a lot, you guys hear me say it. Focus on the activities and not on the results, just the activities, the money will come. That's the goal, right? It's really, we can say it's 25 sales, but really it's the money, right? We wanna be paid for doing our job. In my own business and in coaching and in sales, when I focus not on the results, but I focus on the actual work and the activities and only that, the results just come. They just do. And also to kind of answer your question, Carmisha, I chose to come into real estate. I went through the headache of the classes and passing that damn test and paying all these dues, and I'm here, I made this decision. We didn't like get you out there and pull you in off the street, right? You guys decided to do this, and when you did, you knew that it was 100% commission job. And that we do, the bottom line is we all need a paycheck, right? But if you keep focusing on the work and you just consistently do it, it's just as painful as going to the gym every day to find a result you're looking for at the end of the year. It's painful and you're gonna see your result, you have to keep at it, and most people, eventually that result just happens. But like you guys said, find the thing that you love to do, then it won't be as painful during the process, so. Well, thank you guys so much. Thank you, Commissioner, for those great questions. And I look forward to seeing us all going through the rest of the month. We've got the next classes on Monday after Dominate Your Week is Mercedes coming to chat with us, so hopefully you guys can make it there.
Cool.
Cool, so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh.